Welcome to Joslyn Interview Friday. My name is Jack Newby. I'm the Executive Director at the Joslyn Center. We are streaming live on Facebook, and also Interview Fridays are now on podcast. So they're available also on our YouTube channel called Joslyn Television. So welcome. We'll be talking in a few minutes about HICAP and the importance of that and what it means to seniors, and information that's very important regarding Medicare. Before we get into that, I want to let you know about some of the things that are coming up here at the Joslyn Center. Our Wellness Center is coming up with Aging Mastery and Brain Boot Camp programs, and we are doing them live in a large room space so we can still maintain social distance and safety for our members. But we've really gotten feedback that people want to see those classes live. And Brain Boot Camp is great. It is from the UCLA Longevity Center, teaching you about brain health and memory, ways to improve your memory. And those are things we all are concerned about as we get older. And so it's ways to make sure that you stay brain healthy also. And then our Aging Mastery program, we're the only senior center in the Coachella Valley that does these programs. Aging Mastery is from the National Council on Aging, and it covers 10 important subjects, things like advanced planning, the importance of sleep, financial planning, the importance of staying engaged in your community, a number of different subject matters of the importance of exercise, balance, so things to keep you healthy and keep you engaged, and learn how to do that. And so experts come in on each of those subject matters. So we have a sleep doctor from Eisenhower Health. We have financial planners that come in. So lots of interesting information. And so if you are interested in those classes, you can look at our website at joslyncenter.org. If you want to register and find out the dates of those classes, call 760-340-3220, extension 117, and Esmeralda will help you get registered for those classes. So now it's time for our interview, and I want to introduce today we have Renato de Moraes. He is with HICAP. Good morning, Renato. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Well, welcome. You know, one of the things that before we start that our viewers like to learn is a little bit about you. So some of your background and experience in working with seniors in HICAP.
Sure. A little bit on my personal background, as you might be able to tell by my accent. I'm Brazilian. I grew up in Brazil and I moved to US back in 2003. So my accent, I simply cannot hide. It's always going to be there. But I've been with HICAP for about 7 years. So I've been working with Medicare for about 7 years. But prior to that, I worked for a law firm that did Social Security disability claims. So really, my background goes close to about 12 years dealing with services for seniors as far as disability, SSI, retirement, state disability, but Medi-Cal, but again, Medicare is my specialty.
So we mentioned the word HICAP. Why don't you tell people what HICAP is and what those letters mean?
Sure, yeah. The name HICAP doesn't really describe well what we do, because HICAP stands for Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program. That is a mouthful here, but to really describe well, I like to say like this. We are a nonprofit organization that provides free, unbiased Medicare counseling. You see, we don't work with any insurance companies. We don't sell anything. We basically just explain how the system works.
So people go into Medicare at different times during the year, and then also there's a very busy time, open enrollment. And tell us what open enrollment is with respect to Medicare and what that means for people who are utilizing Medicare.
Right. The annual enrollment is between October 15th and December 7th. So that's basically when you can make changes. If you are already on Medicare and you are unhappy with your coverage for any reason, that's when you can make changes. Now, one thing that I like to clarify, a lot of people think that they have to make changes. Well, not necessarily. You see, I have a tendency to tell our clients here, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Please, if you are satisfied with your coverage, you don't have to make any changes. Now, sure, the prices of your prescriptions are increasing. Your needs are different. Your doctors are different. When anything major like that changes, then of course, that's when you need to look into other options. And that's what we're here for, to explain what's out there, all the options out there.
So if people are at the point in their lives where they need to choose a Medicare plan or during open enrollment, what are some of the things they should consider when they're looking at the different plans, and what do you tell them to be aware of?
Right. Yeah, there are a few items that basically I keep checking here the mark, because that's really what's gonna make a difference what to choose. Number one is the area where you live. You know, if you live in a very populated area such as Riverside or San Bernardino, there are several options that might work for you. While if you live in Blythe or if you live in 29 Palms, some cities that are a little far out, then your options are a little more slim. So we gotta be more careful when to choose. So yes, again, the location, your needs. You see, there are people out there that just see a primary doctor maybe once, twice a year for a checkup. So they don't need much freedom of choice to choose their own doctors. So for them, again, a lot of options. But if you are the type of person that sees several specialists, that you don't want to change doctors, you want to make sure you stick to those, then it's different. You see? And then I would say number 3 here on the check mark here, it would be your financial situation, because Medicare, the cost varies very drastically based on your income levels. So if you're high income, Social Security might charge you a little more than the average. If you are above the poverty level, you're going to just pay what is the average. But if you're considered low income, then there are lots of benefits out there that will pay for that cost. So that's why your financial situation makes a huge difference as well. Now, last checkbox, prescription drugs. You see, depending on what you take, that can make a huge difference of which plans that you are picking. You see, you take a prescription for high blood pressure, for high cholesterol. Those are usually cheap in every plan out there. You're gonna pay maybe up to $5. But if you take something for cancer, something for diabetes, HIV, that's when the prices can sky high. And that's when we come in to compare plans based on the prescriptions that they take. So those 4 items.
Now, as I understand it, also, if people are working and they may be receiving their medical coverage through their employer, or once they sign up for Medicare, if they don't do it within a certain time period, that there are possible penalties that may follow them through the rest of their lives. Could you explain that a little bit?
Sure. This varies from employer to employer and what type of coverage that you have from the employers. You see, for example, let's say you work for an employer that they provide you with a HMO plan that is a very well-known plan. So then you have to ask the employer, once you turn 65, am I able to keep this insurance since now I qualify for Medicare? So it's going to be up to the employer to tell you yes or no, right? And then the second step, if they say yes, you can keep, then it's up to the employer again if you should be enrolling on Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. The reason behind is some employers, they like to have their insurance primary and Medicare as a secondary. While other employers, they just say, no, you don't need to have Medicare at all. You just stay with us. So you see, again, it depends. Even if you turn 65, does not necessarily mean you must enroll. You need to please first talk to the employer. Now, to go back to what the point of the question was, what happens if you just don't enroll anything? That's when you get penalized. You see, if you turn 65 and you have absolutely no insurance and you just say, well, you know what, I'm healthy, I don't need to enroll Medicare. No, because later on, once you decide to enroll, you're going to be penalized for the Medicare Part B and also for the Medicare Part D. And those penalties, they go for the rest of your life. So to be on the safe side, if that's your situation, you're not sure if you're supposed to enroll or not, please give us a call so we can go a little deeper on that in your specific situation.
So as I understand it, because you just mentioned a couple parts of Medicare, there's Part A, there's Part B. I know D is for the drug benefit. Could you explain those different parts about Medicare?
Sure, I will explain. But for you to really understand, I have to ask you to take notes at the same time.
Okay.
Because if I just throw the letters, they're gonna start mixing everything. So since my job is to actually give presentations, I do PowerPoint presentations, I kind of take the same approach. So I'm gonna ask you to draw my slide, okay? So please, if you're a pen, draw a vertical line on the middle of your paper. So then you're gonna have 2 columns. Now, with that in mind, one side we call original Medicare. The other side we call Medicare Advantage. Now, you see, those that are very different as far as the cost and as far as freedom of choice as well. And again, it depends a lot on your needs, depends if you can afford it. So let's just cover this, but I'm gonna give the short version. Trust me,
Okay.
there's a lot to it. But let's just say this, okay? So with Medicare has 2 sides, but before you get there, the first step is with the Social Security Administration when you are enrolling. You are turning 65, you have to enroll. So with the Social Security, you're gonna enroll for the Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Part A is the hospital insurance, basically the part that covers when you end up hospitalized. Now the Part A, as far as the cost, is based on how many years that you worked and paid your taxes towards the system. So the average person that worked for at least 10 years pays no monthly premium from the Part A. If you have less than 10 years, then Social Security is going to start charging. So again, we'll talk about that. If that's your situation, please give us a call to go deeper. Now, that's A. Now, B is the medical insurance. So it's the part that covers when you see a doctor, when you get an x-ray, a blood test, and so on. Now, the average cost for the Part B is $170.10 per month. If you are considered high income, like above 87,000 if you're single, or above 170,000 if you're married, that's when Medicare starts charging you more. If again, those amounts per year, of course. So that's when Medicare starts charging you more. Now, if you're considered low income, then there are benefits out there that will pay for that cost. So again, A and B, that is hospital and medical, and those 2 are with the Social Security Administration, no insurance involved. Now, up until that point, that's when you split between these 2 columns that I just mentioned, the original and advantage. So please stay with me, okay? Because again, this can get complicated. So first, let's talk about the advantage. The advantage, another name for it, is Part C, as a cat. So you see, so it was A and B with Social Security. Advantage is the C, also known as Medicare Advantage. Now, those that are basically HMO plans, such as Kaiser, Blue Shield, Blue Cross, Aetna, Scan, one of those. And the way an HMO plan works is basically like this. You have to stay within their network, right? You pick a plan, you cannot see doctors from outside their network. You have to see doctors that are within your county. If you want to see a specialist, you must first see a primary doctor to get a referral, you see? So with these HMO plans, I like to describe them with the word less, because you're going to have less freedom of choice, right? But at the same time, you're going to have less monthly cost, because those plans, most of them, they don't have a monthly premium. So what you're going to be paying is that $170 for the Part B, plus any co-payments that you might have depending on which plan that you pick. So let's just say this way, my average client that has an HMO plan spends about $200 per month total. That 170 plus, let's say, another 30 for a few co-payments, okay? So again, the takeaway for the Advantage HMOs is that less freedom, less cost. Now, there's also, again, to make things more complicated, with these Advantage plans, there's one PPO plan. There's an Aetna plan. Now, with this Aetna plan, because the PPO, they give you a little more freedom because you can go outside their network, although you're going to have to pay more. You see? So the takeaway, again, is this. HMO, less freedom, less cost. That one PPO, a little more freedom, a little more cost. You see? So that's the Advantage. So part C. So now we talk the other side, the original. And again, I apologize if this sounds very complicated. If you don't take notes, you're going to get lost. Now, with original Medicare is very different because there's no insurance with the A and B, right? But the A and B only pays for 80% of the cost of your treatment. Therefore, you would be responsible to pay for the other 20%, or you can enroll in what we call a Medigap plan. Those plans that are also known as supplemental plans. Now, again, trust me, long story short, there are 8 different types of plans, 30 insurance companies that sell them. But again, they're there just to pay the 20%, the gap, the Medigap. Now, those plans, they usually, as someone that is 65 years old that choose the best plan out there, they pay about $150 per month, but they go up every year. So by the time you are in your late 70s, early 80s, you might be paying $300, $400 just for the Medigap plan. You see? So remember how I said the total for the Advantage usual is about $200 per month? Now the original, you are paying that $170. Now you're paying another $150 for the Medigap, right, to pay the 20%. But then on top of that, you still need a Part D plan, D for drugs. That is a prescription drug plan. So that will be another co-payment, another monthly premium, you see? So my average client that gets original Medicare spends about $400 per month. You see, it's basically double. But why is that? Well, Advantage, less freedom, less cost. Original, more freedom, more cost. Because with original, you can see doctors in any counties, in any states. You can go to a specialist without getting a referral. So as long as they accept original Medicare, you can go. You see, there are way more places that accept original Medicare than Advantage, because the Advantage is just that one company that you pick, right? Scan or Blue Shield or Kaiser, while original Medicare is the whole federal system. So there's no nice way to say this, okay? You pay more to get more freedom of choice.
So it sounds like there's a lot of information, and we want to let people know about how they can talk to you individually or in a group. And we're doing a new program where they'll be able to ask you questions and talk about, some of these questions regarding Medicare and HICAP. And so that's on the 4th Friday of every month. And so the first one's coming up on February 25th. And I don't have in my notes the time of that.
It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that 1 hour of it. Yeah.
So we will be letting people know how they can, that's on Zoom. So we'll be letting people know how they can access that. And if you're part of our virtual programming group, you'll be getting a notification about that. So that's something to look forward to. Let's go, there's a lot of personal information people have to give about Medicare when they're enrolling or that sort of thing. And my guess is that because of that, there are a lot of scams out there. So let's touch real quickly on some of those scams that people should be watching out for.
Yes, because I also represent another nonprofit that is basically a sister organization from HICAP called Senior Medicare Patrol. And we deal with Medicare fraud and abuse. We give presentations about that as well. So let's just say this way, okay? There are different types of scams. There are phone scams, email scams, they're all different types. So there are a few, let's say, tips that we like to give. So number one, really quickly here about the phone, okay? If you have a cell phone, okay, specifically, your phone rings, you look at the number, you don't recognize it, don't answer, period. Now, you might think, well, but what about if it's my doctor, if it's my family member? Well, they can always leave you a message. You see, you can always listen to the message and call them back. So if you want to be on the safe side, even tell your friends and family, tell them, look, if you call me for a weird number that I don't recognize the number, please just leave me a message. I'm not going to answer. Because the problem about answering the phone without knowing who's calling is there are so many different types of scams that one day they're going to say something that sounds reasonable. And that's when you start giving out information. For example, there's scam out there that people call saying, yes, I'm calling you from Medicare and we are mailing these new cards and I just want to confirm your information. You see? So number one, Medicare, they just don't call people out of the blue like this. But if you are in a situation that you are like, okay, yeah, I heard about these new cards, and you start talking to them, they will convince you. So please be careful. That's extremely important. Don't recognize, don't answer, because the scammers, they don't want to give you time to think, to consider, to discuss that with anybody else. That's why they don't usually leave messages. See? So please, that's one. Now, the other one that I would say is borderline scam, borderline sales tactics. As I mentioned before, the any enrollment period, or basically any time of the year, if you are approached by a salesperson, or if you see a TV commercial, anything about these plans that everything sounds wonderful, please be careful. Okay, a lot of the sales, sometimes they don't even apply to the zip code where you live. But by the time you called and they have you on the phone, many times, I mean, we have so many clients that they call us saying, yeah, I felt bad for that client, for that salesperson. They were talking to me for so long that I ended up signing up, but I didn't want to. So please, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Don't look, oh, my neighbor said that their insurance is the best. No, please, every situation is different. In doubt, just give us a call. Let us talk to you. We'll tell you what it is. We're the only source really of unbiased counseling, because you never know what's coming. That's the problem. From the other side of the internet, from the other side of the phone, many, many, many scams out there.
So if people have questions, a lot of the senior centers have HICAP counselors that they can schedule an appointment with. And you also mentioned that they could give you a call. Is there a good number for people to call?
Yes, yes. Or general number, that is 909-256-8369. So usually we give presentations, we go to senior centers, we meet one-on-one, but because of the COVID rules and regulations, sometimes can be a little challenging. So worst case scenario, we can help you over the phone. Worst case scenario, we talk about your situation over the phone, we can explain to you what's out there, what's going on. Now, with these Q&A sessions that we're gonna have with you guys every fourth Friday of the month, that is more like general questions. Okay, if you're calling and you want to know when to enroll, when to make changes, what kind of plans are out there, sure, we can cover all that. But once we start talking about your specific prescriptions, your date of birth and things like that, that's when we like to say, hold on a second, let me get your phone number here, we schedule an appointment and we can go one-on-one.
So again, what is that number that people should call?
909-256-8369.
So Renato, I want to thank you. You've given us a lot of information, very important information. I think what it tells our listeners and seniors in the community is that if they have any questions, they should call HICAP. They should be really aware of all the various different plans and how they apply to them. And the only place they can get the unbiased opinion is through HICAP. So schedule that appointment at your senior center or look for the presentation. So Renato, I want to thank you very much for this very informative presentation on HICAP and information on HICAP. And hopefully our viewers and listeners are coming away with some good information. So thank you. I wish you have a great weekend, and really thank you for spending this time with us.
Of course. No, thank you once again. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, everyone. We'll look forward to answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.